Shalom Aleichem Rabotai. We are continuing the Mishnah Yomi. Yesterday we started the fifth parak in Terumot with cases of where one of the parts of the mixture of chulin or other items in Terumah was tamei. Remember the fourth parak, everything was tahor, Baruch Hashem. Here one part is tamei, and that adds a wrinkle to what's going on. In Mishnah Aleph was a case where there was no bittul, where one fell into 50. So there was not bittul, or we say ole in the case of truma because we take something out, as we're going to see. Mishnah Bet reads seya truma tmeya. We have one seya of tamei truma, contaminated truma, shenafla l'toch meya chulin techarin, and it falls into 100 chulin techarin of non-truma regular produce, which is tahor. So now it is going to be batel or ole, as we say in the case of truma. Rabbi Eliezer Omer, Terum v'tisaref. You have to take out one seya and you burn it. She'ani Omer, because I say, says Rabbi Eliezer, seya shenaflo, the seya of truma tameya that fell in, he seya she'alta, is the same seya that came up out of it. So even though the chulin is taharin, when you're ole that one seya to give to the Kohen, the Kohen really can't use it. He really has to burn it. And the Bartanura points out this is a different case of the normal burning. Normally, if truma becomes tameya, becomes contaminated, it cannot be eaten, but it can be burnt as fuel. He can have hana from it. But here, Bartanura says, Haiti sarv ditikov. It's like it has to go to rot. He can't use it in the fireplace as fuel. It has to rot or maybe be thrown in the Dead Sea, or it has to be mamish burnt with no one enjoying from the burning. And the problem is, because it's from a mixture, somebody might come to be makel and come to eat it. If they're allowed to have hana from it, they might come to eat it. And this truma that's coming up out of the mixture, even though it's batel, according to Rabbi Eliezer, it's as if it's the same truma. You know, we understand, according to Rabbi Eliezer, it's not the exact same particles and molecules, but it's as if it's the same truma that fell in. And the truma that fell in is tameya. So the truma that comes up, that's ole for the Kohen, is also truma tameya. But because we're concerned it's from a mixture, and he might not treat it with the full status of tuma, might come to eat it, so we make him mamish burn it without any hana. The chochamim omrim, but the other sages say, not like Rabbi Eliezer, they say ta'ale v'te'achel. They say you take out that one seya of truma, because even though it's batel in 100, it's ole, we still take out one seya to give to the Kohen, but he can even eat it. But how? Like we saw in yesterday's Mishnah, he can eat it in a way that prevents tuma from taking place. Now recall, if something gets wet with 7 liquids, including water, then it becomes mukhshar l'kabel tuma. It's ready to accept tuma. So how's he going to eat it? Nikudim oklayot. He's going to eat it dried or parched, parched, dried out in the oven, popcorned. O tilush b'mei perot, or kneaded as a dough, but with mei perot, like with pomegranate juice, as we saw yesterday. Grape juice won't work. Oil won't work because those things do allow tuma to transfer. But pomegranate juice, famously, Bartanura said yesterday, does work to prevent tuma. O titchalek leisot. Or again, like we said yesterday, make itty-bitty little rolls, like little small rolls, less than a kibetza. They can be bigger than a kazayit, but less than a kibetza. They won't transfer tuma down to the food. So that would be the solution there. Mishnah Gimel now has a similar case, seya truma tahora. So now the truma is pure, is uncontaminated. Shenafla lemeya chulin tmeyin. And now it falls into 100 chulin, but the chulin is tmeyin. Tale v'ta'achel. He takes out one seya, and it could be eaten. How? Nekudim aklaya, dried or parched. Otilish b'mei peirot, or with fruit juices. O titchalak l'isot kadesh lo yehei b'makom echad kibetza, or in these itty bitty rolls, less than a kibetza, that won't transfer tuma. Now the interesting thing here is, even though the chulin is tameyan, we assume that the seya that comes out of truma, well, we know lemaisa it's mixed with chulin. We know that every little scoop you take, it's less than 1% truma, and it's 99% an abyssal of chulin, and the chulin is tameyan. So we don't want that chulin tameyan to contaminate the truma, which is why we have to eat it in a way that takes precautions. And it's interesting in this case, Rabbi Eliezer does not argue with the sages. Rabbi Eliezer could have said, well, the exact same seya of Terumah Tahora that fell in, that's the exact same, halachically speaking, seya that comes out, and therefore it should be completely tahor. So what he says in Mishnah Bet, that's a chumrah. And here it's a tremendous kula. If you would say the exact same thing comes out, so we see that Rabbi Eliezer only says it l'chumrah. In the first case in Mishnah Bet, he has to burn it without any hana, and in this case he could even eat it, but only with precautions to prevent tuma, not just eat it stam mixed with water in a way to transfer tuma. The Bartner explains the Shem Truma, the name of Truma, returns, is Choseret L'Shma Rishon, like the original. So in the first case, Truma Tameya fell in. So what's Ola, even though it's Batal, what's Ola is Truma Tameya. And he has to be very careful and burn it without any hana. And here Truma Tahora came in, Truma Tahora comes out, but we're concerned that it's mixed with Chulin Tameyin, so he has to take these precautions. Shkoyach.